In the last lecture, you learned how to install a package using pip. Now, let's run pip list. You can see currently we have installed requests version 2.20.1. There's a problem here. Let's say we have another project, and in that project, we want to use an earlier version of this package. With the current structure, we cannot have two versions of any of these packages side by side. We can have only a single version. To solve this problem, we need to create an isolated virtual environment for each application and install these dependencies into that virtual isolated environment. Let me show you how to do that. So here in the project folder, we run python -m venv and then specify the name of a directory for containing this virtual environment. By convention, we call that env. Now, don't worry about memorizing any of these because later I'm going to show you a better and simpler way. So technically, you're never going to execute this command after I show you the latest tools. I'm just going to take you on a step-by-step journey so you understand exactly how these various tools come together. So let's go ahead and run this command. Good. Now here on the File Explorer panel, you can see we have a new directory. And in this directory, we have this config file with these parameters. Home is referencing the directory where my Python interpreter is installed. And here's the version of that interpreter. So I'm using CPython version 3.7. We also have this bin or binary directory where we have a bunch of tools like pip, pip3, Python, Python3, and so on. Next to that, we have include, which is currently empty. We have lib. Inside of this directory, we have Python 3.7. And inside of that, we have site packages. Now, this directory structure is slightly different on Windows. So if you're a Windows user, don't get hung up on these subtle differences. Focus on the big picture. What matters here is that this site packages directory is where we'll install the packages for this application. So a virtual directory is an isolated environment where we have a specific Python interpreter, in this case, CPython version 3.7, as well as a bunch of packages that this application needs. Okay, now that we have a virtual environment, we need to activate it. Here in the bin folder, we have a script called activate. We need to run this from the terminal. So back in the terminal, if you're on Windows, you execute this script directly. So you reference it like this: env /bin/activate.bat. If you're on Mac or Linux, you will have to type source env/bin/activate. There you go. Now you can see the name of the currently active virtual environment. In this case, that is env. We could call this anything, but by convention, we use env. So now that we're in the virtual environment for this application, let's go ahead and install an earlier version of requests package. So pip install requests 2.9. So as you can see, we have installed requests version 2.9.2, which is different from the request package that we installed globally on this machine. This is specific to this application. Now back to our directory structure. Now under the site packages directory, we have this new directory, requests. This is where we have installed the requests package for this application. Finally, whenever we're done, we need to deactivate this virtual environment. So we run deactivate.